Okay, so today, hello, Macomb CTE teachers. Today we're going to talk about the CO6 leadership component in the CIP self-review. That has also changed a little bit just as far as like how you're going to document everything. OCTE did a really nice job kind of like outlining this continuum of kind of where we want to move students from along their path to developing leadership skills. But what I did want to point out before we go into anything is that, this first line, all state approved CT programs are required to provide student leadership as an integral co-curricular component of their program. Now, CTSOs, yes, they provide an excellent framework, and a lot of you are doing CTSOs, and that's awesome. Keep up the great work. The toolkit will look at, where the CTSOs are listed as far as like your DECA, your HOSA, your BPA, Skills USA. If you are not actively engaged in some way, it could even just be at a basic level where you're getting some of the CTSO resources. I would highly recommend you look into doing that. But we're also going to take a look at what leadership looks like even outside of a CTSO, because why a CTSO, a student organization, is very lends itself nicely to making you compliant with this leadership component. There are still ways we can embed, for those of you who it's just not an option for you for one way, a reason or another, there are still other ways that you can embed this. And if you look at what needs to be uploaded in the CIP self-review, it's really talking about creating this template and identifying where students are doing things that are more like individual type leadership, team membership. And because this is a little bit new language, I figured we would take a deeper dive or look into it. So if we look at, this is from the CTE teacher toolkit. Okay, that's where this info is being pulled from. It's on page 15. I'm also going to attach it in your Google Drive folder and also to the email that this goes out in. But you'll see that, the importance of student leadership, it identifies like understanding leadership, different type of, types, communications, like how we want to develop students into communicators, speakers, managers, for their own personal growth. I'm not going to go through this because I want to keep these mini sessions short. And like career success. But this continuum I thought was really cool that the state developed. It's moving from like the me to the we. And it takes a look at leadership in terms of, here's your personal development, your career, your own personal growth, like where you're developing leadership individually. Also, leadership skills that have to do with a team, being that socially awareness, communication skills, self-discipline. And then it moves to another step as far as project manager. Now you're actually looking over other people. Maybe you're the team lead for a project. And then these last two, like local leaders, these are elected positions, community leaders. This is very heavy CTSO language. So usually in order to get to some of these, that's where that CTSO comes in. But there are different components or projects or pieces of your curriculum or just classroom practices, if you think about it, that will allow students to move within these intersections as you strengthen and provide more leadership opportunities. So I wanted to show you the template that would be, or actually before I show you the template, let me move over, make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. Okay, so this is what it looks like in the CIP self-review. So you'll see, actually let me close out of this. So this is the leadership section in the CTE portal. And I will say it again, the CTE portal is powered by a system called GEMS, but it is not GEMS you are trying to log into. Make sure for my CTE teachers that you're typing in CTE portal and you see CTE portal. You're not trying to get into the grant management system, you're getting into this portal. So once you navigate, you'll see you can get to all of the sections. So we'll go to CO6 right here. And you'll see it's that same language that was just in the toolkit. It refers to the toolkit. And then where you upload your template is you view and upload, and it looks just like that CIP self-review document that I had up, right? So what you would do is after you fill out your CT program, each student leadership development opportunities, you put yes, assuming that it's yes. And then you would click here to upload your file. Okay, so that's where you would upload your file and then you would see it there. So let me take you into what this template that we're going to use looks like. Let me do a new share. Okay, so here's the leadership template. And just like the previous templates that I've done many lessons on, they have a very similar flavor and feel. So you have all your identifying information at the top. You're going to say your activity. You're going to describe the activity. When did it occur? Okay, so it could be something that maybe is built in over a semester. It could have occurred on a specific date in a specific class. So you're going to list that there. And then the different level, like what level does this take a student to? Is this more focused on their individual growth? Does this give opportunities for them to develop those team member skills, and so on and so forth? And where this leadership level is pulling from, if you need, this is the key down at the bottom. So if it's individual, and this came straight from that continuum that OCT put out, so then you'd identify, okay, this is the activity that we're doing. This is when we did it, and this is the level at which it will push students to develop their leadership skills. So it's pretty, straightforward. When you start to look at leadership within your program, really start to think outside the box. Obviously, you're going to identify, maybe CTSO meetings or election of officers or things that you do within your CTSO or competitions, but don't negate the fact that you could have, I was talking to a business teacher and they were like, for that curriculum, there's so much packed into it because you're trying to get student certification. And I get it because I used to teach that. But I said, well, what if you allowed students they knew right off the bat that they had to teach a particular skill to the class, and you staggered them and everybody had to at least do it once, so that they had to lead the class through a live demonstration of something new that the class doesn't know. And I mean, that's going to pull on communication. It's going to pull on time management to make sure they're ready, because whether or not they're going up in front of the class to do a training with them, it's hard leading and training other people. So even that in of itself, and then you wouldn't be behind on curriculum because the student would still be progressing the curriculum just in a different way. So that's one way to look at it, is what is happening in my class already, the good stuff that's happening, and say, how can I give more student voice, student advocacy, student leadership behind it, in order to really make leadership not just a one thing that we do because we talk to them about leadership, but really give them a continuum of opportunities within your CTE course that allows them to naturally develop as leaders and become more confident and take that ownership. So essentially that is leadership. This is the template. OCT does have a different template. I will show you theirs. Theirs looks like this, and you can absolutely, let me move to it. This is on OCT's website. Their template looks like this, where you, again, the individual, the team member, you would write the activity, when it happened, and describe it. So it's the same information that was on the template that I created, just in a different form. So whatever makes sense to you, we all kind of think differently. You can do it this way as well. There's no right or wrong way. It's just whatever makes sense to you. So again, you can use the OCT's template or the template that kind of follows some of the other ones that are made in Macomb. And those are the identifiers between the individual, team member, project, and all of that. So hope this finds you well. I'm going to move now. I'm going to stop this video and start a new one, because today we are going to try to wrap up both the credentials and the professional development, just to make sure that all of you have everything that you need towards the end of the year to get everything into your CIP self-review. So I will talk to you soon.